Welcome in to the Salt Lake City franchise here on MLB The Show 25. We are here in season number 5 in this series, as opening day was just last episode, and we had a pretty good start to this season. But I think one of the big stories coming into this year is going to be our first round draft pick from season 4, Johnnie Francisco. He was the MLB ranked number 1 prospect, but fell all the way to us at number 8. And I'm not sure why, but the word is that he has some character issues. But we will work on those as he matures and makes his way up the rankings as he makes his debut at the AA level today. So Francisco does have a 3-pitch mix right now. He has a slider, a changeup, and a fastball. Now, his fastball is not very overpowering. He is more of a finesse pitcher, but that finesse is really finesse as he comes in with the high 70s overall. The changeup right now is his best pitch, but we will look to probably add a 4th pitch as this season goes on. But here he's facing Arkansas here at the AA level for our Flying Squirrels, and that one will be a single up the middle, and the first hit he's allowed in his professional career. So how does he respond to a single? He brings up Canzone, who hits this one well to left field, and it's just going to be a fly ball, and he will be out of his first inning of work as he move on to the top of the second inning. A couple of base runners surrendered here as he does get a swing and miss at a pitch low in the dirt. And now with 2 outs, can he pitch out of this jam? High fastball, and it's just a fly ball to right field. That one will hang up in the air and will get us out of this second inning. Now, my plan for Francisco this year is really to pitch him at all levels. So he will start at AA, hopefully get moved up to AAA, and then maybe later down in the year, he will get his MLB debut, or maybe not. Maybe he stays down in the minors the entire year. I guess it depends on how well he's pitching and how well our MLB roster is pitching as well, because if we need the help, if we think that our MLB team can use him, it's a possibility that here in his first professional season, he just plays, about a month at AA or a month or 2 at AAA, then gets moved up, close to the trade deadline. But here is Jose Devers here in the top of the 4th inning, and Francisco is going to have to learn you can't get away with those pitches. These are all professional hitters at this point, and that was just a changeup that missed. And that's a 1-0 lead here for the Arkansas AA affiliate. I believe they're called the Rubber Duckies, as that one will be a fly ball to left field as Francisco is almost through 4 innings. As he faces Liam Hicks now, another fly ball, and that's kind of the thing that I'm seeing here as these batters do face Francisco. He's going to force a lot of fly balls. A lot of hitters are on their heels. But here's a deep drive to left center field, but Ezekiel Beltran will run that one down as it's a 1-0 game here for the Rubber Ducks. Now we move on, and we do end up pulling Francisco after just 4 innings, just getting him 4 innings of work in his debut. And now we go on later in this game, and the Flying Squirrels cannot produce any offense, and as you can see, the Rubber Ducks do get a bunch of hits in this one. They have 10 up to this point. Now we're on to the 7th inning, and it looks like it may be over at this point. One player that I do want to point out that is at the AA level that I do want to keep an eye on is our leadoff hitter, Patrick Burkett. He was a center fielder, 18-year-old, who I'm going to be looking to develop as possibly a future piece in the outfield. He's 67 overall and a C potential, but he's a good player. But we do end up losing this game. Johnnie Francisco only gives up one earned run, which is that solo home run, but ends up getting the loss as well. So let's look at our MLB team here as we start this season, as we start the month of May. Here is Michael Vigil, acquired via trade from the Tampa Bay Rays, with an opportunity to give us a lead or maybe even tie this ball game up. He gets a pitch over the middle and a hard hit ball to second base with 2 outs. We cannot get any more runs across the plate here in the 8th. But we move on to the 9th. Down by 1. Here is Tanner Scott in to close it out for the Reds, and that will not be a good start as he hits Sal Frelick on the back. Frelick has good speed at first base at 89. He can also steal pretty decently, and there is Daenerys De La Cruz getting a nice at-bat there. And it's another walk. So now runners on first and second here with Christian Yelich, but it's just going to be a double play ball. And now we have a runner on third, 2 outs, and it's going to bring up one of the best hitters in all of baseball at this point. Actually, it won't. It's Elvis Esparza hitting in that 2 spot. But he hits one solidly up the middle. It's knocked down by Elly De La Cruz, and it will bring in the runner from third. And it will be a tie ball game. As now we move on to the bottom of the 9th. Here is Seth Martinez with that high pitching clutch, and a big reason why we drafted him in the Rule 5 draft. And this one is going to extras. These close games are important here in this series, as now that brings in Ryan O'Hearn facing Tanner Scott, and O'Hearn hits this one well to left. That's going to get down off of the wall, and it does score the runner from second, and it's a 7-6 ball game in the top of the 10th. Ryan O'Hearn was signed to a 2-year contract 2 years ago. He's on the final year of his deal, but he has fallen out of the favor of the lineup as he is sharply declining. So that brings up Michael Vigil, who gets a good pitch. This one's driven deep to center field, back at the warning track, and it cannot make it out of the yard. That would have been pretty epic to extend this lead late. But we do end up bringing in Casto, and he will get us the save in this one. So we do get a nice road victory versus the Reds, 7-6. 7 hits by us, 11 by them. Pretty good end to that game right there. So we do have the number 9 pick in the upcoming draft, and we will start to look at some of the draft prospects in this episode. And one thing I want to emphasize is that our strategy is going to be a lot different this year, and you guys have suggested it, so I'm going to kind of go ahead and enforce it. But first, let's look at the top prospects in this upcoming draft. These drafts are still important. We are still kind of a long way away, in my opinion, from being a World Series team. So drafting well is still extremely important. So let's look at the number 1 prospect, Sammy Amaros. Now, we've seen a lot of players like Amaros in years past, but unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, they haven't looked like him, because guys that have an overall that is similar to their potential usually end up being busts. So we will stay away from him. But I do get intrigued around number 3 here in Max West. He has 75-99 potential. I'm definitely going to scout him. He can hit. He has good vision and discipline, and also is a good defender. We don't really need catcher, but it's not going to deter me from at least scouting some catchers that are in this draft. But starting pitcher is also very, very heavy in the top 15. Ricky Pittman is a really good one. He might end up being pretty decent. Brian Jimenez is also good. I look at him and I say, well, he has up to 99 potential. It's maybe a guy that I could look at, but these are the guys that I'm really interested in. Guadalupe Barreto. Look at the offense. Look at the defense. But what does alarm me a little bit, the overall and potential are very close to one another. If you see guys like that, that means that they're probably not going to be high potentials. They're probably going to maybe be high overalls, maybe a high floor, but not at a high potential. The same with Babe McGraw. Like, these numbers look elite, but I think his ceiling isn't going to be as high as what we see right here. And that's one thing you have to look out for in scouting. But I will make sure to do my due diligence in scouting these guys. Jermaine Barton is interesting, but another one of those guys that has the overall close to potential. Steven Enriquez looks pretty good. He's the number 10 ranked prospect, and we're picking around number 9. So we do want to scout everybody around here. Emil Valenzuela could be interesting. Robbie Tanner could be interesting. At least what I've seen here in these top 15 prospects, there's a lot of outfielders. So left fielders, right fielders, center fielders. Here's another one, Mike Valencia. So we really have to do our due diligence here and scout every position and make sure that we're making the right selection. I do not want to get this first round pick wrong. We haven't gotten wrong so far. Every single first round pick we've drafted so far in this series has been a good player, but I think I'm looking for a big bat this year. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be scouting center fielders in the Central and then doing Discovery Infield West and Infield International. And I will do this for every region. So I will go Infield Central and East next. Then I'll move to the outfield and do some Discovery there. So now we hop into some more action, and it's the same scenario as before. Down by 1 versus the Cincinnati Reds at Great American Ballpark. Here is Frelick, though, a chopper to second, and he does his job on this one. That was only 1 out here in the 8th. Hits a chopper to second. It's enough to score the runner from third, and it's a 4-4 ball game. Here is Mariano Aguilar, who struggled a little bit in the spring, but is off to a good start here, hitting .437. Here is a ground ball up the middle, but Aguilar doesn't have the greatest speed. Maybe if he had great speed, he could have beat that one out, but instead, it will take us to the 9th inning. Now down by 1 again, a 5-6 ball game with Royce Lewis hitting .206 this year. Oh, he gets a fastball right over the middle of the plate, and it's a high fly ball to center field. We will tag the runner up going to third, and we will get in safe. So now we have runners on the corners as Christian Yelich makes it to third for Oliver Gonzalez. Like I said, my prediction is he's going to compete for the batting title as he hits this one, and it drops into short left field, and it will tie this ball game up. So in the 8th, we tie it. In the 9th, we tie it. And this one is going to head into extras. So now bottom 10 here, no outs, and Mariano Castro on the mound here to face Will Benson late. So we will hop into this action, and we're now up by 1. It's 8-7. Benson lays down a bunt. It's a hard bunt to second base. Esparza fields it cleanly and is able to shovel it over to first. But now they have a runner on second here with 1 out. That brings up Christian Encarnacion to the plate now. He hits one to center field, and that's going to be short enough here. Luis Lara, playing in center field today, makes the throw to the cutoff. And now we are 1 away from a nice little road win here, facing Matt Verlaine. This is low, and it gets past our young catcher in Oliver Gonzalez. And now they have a runner on third base, so really a base hit will tie this ball game up. Here is Castro now. Ground ball to second. Good backhand, and a throw over to first will win this game. So we're starting to win these close games here in this series. It feels actually really, really good that we can close out these games. And we end up actually starting out the season 8-2 on a 6-game winning streak. What is the deal with this now? And I think we're getting a boost from some of our newcomers like Seth Martinez. Like, this is elite level stuff. And he's declining. So we're only going to really get 1 year out of this probably. But 7 innings pitched, 1.29 ERA, a .86 whip. I mean, this is great stuff. We're finding guys like this. He's faced 27 batters and only given up 4 hits so far. We move on to the next series here as Salt Lake will face Seattle in another similar ball game, a 6-6 ball game. And here's a fly ball to left field. It's going to be a close play at the plate, but we have the speed on the base paths to score like that. And it's Luis Lara this time. Sacrifice fly by Sal Frelick. And now here comes Royce Lewis, the MVP, to the plate with an opportunity to give us some more insurance here when we do send Christian Yelich. And remember, he was a 27 stolen base guy last year. Only got caught stealing once. That's just amazing production by a 36-year-old last year. That brings up here a 3-2 pitch and a chopper up the middle, and that one will get Royce Lewis. So no more runs of insurance in this one. But we do end up simulating to the end to see if Castro can get us there, and he will. Castro has just been electric so far this season. But we do end up winning 2 of 3 on the road versus Seattle, and they do break our win streak right here with an 11-1 win. The funny thing about this game is we had 12 hits to score 1 run. They had 9 hits and scored 11 runs. It's like one of the craziest games that you'll see. But we did end up losing this one, and our winning streak to start the month of May kind of comes to an end on that note. But we are off to a great start this year. Like, look at the Dodgers. They are 6-6. I don't expect them to obviously stay down too long. This is the Dodgers we're talking about. They did sign Ketel Marte in the offseason to a 1-year contract. They just find a way to find these guys that are, late in their careers, but still very productive. But this is a big series for us. really making a statement versus the Dodgers. Let's see if we can do it. It's Yamamoto versus Johnny Hood on the mound. And Johnny Hood is a guy that's been pretty decent for us in Sim, but he's not the greatest of pitchers, obviously. But early on here in the 5th inning, we're going to have to pull him because this series does really mean a lot. So we are down 2-0, and we've had only 3 hits in this one. Yamamoto is pitching a gem so far. And Trent Thornton comes in. He gives up 1 run in the 8th inning, and then he gives up another run in the 9th, so we have to go and pull him. Well, we end up keeping him in, actually. But the Dodgers have 13 hits in this one to our 5. But late in the game, we do get a couple of hits, but we end up losing 4-0 at home. So that was a pretty big loss right there because I thought we pitched pretty good, but our offense just didn't come around there. So now we move on here, and I want to check out this second game in this 3-game set as we lose another one. This time we get 6 runs off of 8 hits, and they get 13 hits and get 10 runs in that one. And we go through 6 pitchers in that game as well. We do go to scouting, and we do find out a little bit more about Babe McGraw. Now, I was interested in Babe McGraw because I thought his attributes were really good. However, one of those guys, like I said, that has the potential close to the overall. So his numbers look really good. Like, these are great attributes. However, he's probably going to be, if we're lucky, a low B potential, but more probably likely a C. Guadalupe Barreto is kind of the same story. You know, not a high ceiling guy, but he looks a lot higher with his potential. Looks like his is going to be a B, but we're just going to have to continue to scout and see what we find. Now, in Discover, we find a pretty good middle infielder here in Sammy Tavares. I think this is a guy that's probably not going to be ready for the show anytime soon, but is pretty much a guaranteed 80 to 98 potential. So I like when we find those guys to have in our back pocket to kind of draft either in the 2nd or 3rd rounds. We do end up getting swept by the Dodgers, though. 6 runs in this one, 11 hits, so we have to bounce back in a big way. Here we face the Cincinnati Reds this time at home. And here is Royce Lewis with a big opportunity here with 1 out, and he hits a fly ball into foul territory down the first baseline. As that brings up Michael Vigil now with an opportunity, and it's just a ground ball to second base. We end up losing this one 2-1 as Johnny Hood gets another loss, but that sparks a lot of losing in the next coming weeks. We end up getting swept by the Dodgers. We get swept by the Cincinnati Reds. And now we look to bounce back versus the Blue Jays. Here is Terrence Madlock here in the bottom of the 10th inning. He hits one through the infield. That one does get to left, but with no outs, we're not going to take the risk of sending the runner because we have Oliver Gonzalez coming up to the plate, but he cannot catch up with the high heat. That's the last thing we needed from one of our best contact hitters on the roster. So that brings up Fritz De La Cruz. We send the runner. We try to hit and run on that one, and it will be a swing and miss and a strike him out, throw him out to end this game. Runners on the corners with no outs, and we end up losing. That's a bad loss right there. And extras. All we needed to do was just make contact. And I knew the runner was going on that one, so I just tried to go with that pitch and maybe hit a ground ball to short. That would have got through the infield. But instead, we swing at a bad pitch, and then we get thrown out at second base. So we find out more information, and Babe McGraw looks really good. Like, he's going to be a good player. He's just not going to have the high ceiling that we're looking for. But he's still somebody I'm considering with our number 9 pick. I just don't know if I want to draft a guy that's C potential so high in the draft, but just something to look out for. Babe McGraw is a good player. So let's just look at, all of the players we have found in Discovery. Luis Diaz, though, is the only, notable outfielder we discovered, but his potential is going to be terrible. So I probably won't go after him. But as you can see, we're getting through this month of April, and it's just been an up and down month. We end up finishing that month 13 and 14. So our offense isn't quite there yet. The chemistry is still gelling. So it's going to take a little bit for us to get going. But as you can see, we are just like searching for, kind of the best players in this draft, and we just get back to the season. But we need to string together some wins. And here we face the Cardinals. We end up beating them 8-6 at the top of the month of May. And now we get into, that second week of May and look to kind of go on a little bit of a win streak, to be honest with you. And it just doesn't happen. We just start to slide very, very quickly as we get swept by the Rays. We drop 2 of 3 from the Cardinals. And we're really just searching for answers at this point. And I think that right now at 16-22, it's still very early. So I'm not interested in making a move at this point. But we do get through, the month of April. And this is kind of what it looked like. And you can just see we're winning these close games, especially in the first couple of weeks. But then we just kind of like hit a wall where we just couldn't score any runs. Like we were scoring like 2 runs a game pretty much for a good like stretch of 2 weeks. And then we were even getting shut out some games. Versus Kansas City, we lost 2-0 and 3-0. So now I want to turn that around in the month of May. But man, what are we doing right here? I mean, we are losing these games and we just need to score more runs. I think the average is still fine. Like we are getting, a lot of hits. Like this one, for example, 11 hits, but only 2 runs. So we're just not manufacturing runs. And in this game, we get 6 hits. 2 runs. So we just need to have a little bit better luck, to be honest with you. In this game, it was 6 hits, 1 run. And I think we just need to string together hits instead of having, these, hits when nobody's aboard or one person's aboard, or even start hitting home runs. And that's one thing that we don't do too well. We're still adding power to this MLB roster. The Jose Tena experiment, I think, is not going well. And to me, I'm going to have to move him either down to AAA or just bench him. And I think the move is to bench him. So Mariano Aguilar is going to get more of an opportunity going forward, and he's going to be the shortstop versus right-handed pitching. For the longest time, or at least for the month, he was only platooning there and hitting versus lefties. But now I'm going to have him as the full-time shortstop, and we'll just see how he does. And seeing how our team is losing these close games, maybe we need a boost to the rotation. So early on at AA, Johnny Francisco, 7 starts, 0.89 whip, and a 1.41 ERA, and he's already up to 80 overall. I'm going to quickly promote him up to AAA and see how he does. Enrique Reyes will stay down at AA. I will move Enrique up once he's at 75 overall. I will kind of wait. But he is developing really nicely. The offense, I'm not even working on that at this point. I don't think that's ever going to come. It might, but, pitching-wise, he's developing pretty well. So here we go at the end of this episode. We still have a little bit to go here, but I really want to get a win to end this episode. I want to end this episode off on a good note. And here we face Gavin Stone, and Johnny Hood gets the start today. Johnny Hood is so interesting to me. In MLB The Show in the past, if you have a high walks per 9, you're usually a good sim pitcher. Johnny Hood has been kind of average to me. And if there's one guy that's probably in jeopardy of losing his starting job to possibly, Johnny Francisco coming up, it's Johnny Hood. So he's definitely got to be on his best game the next few starts. So here he is facing probably the toughest lineup in the MLB with LA Dodgers on the road. But he does get a 1-2-3 inning to open this game. Here is Terrence Madlock at the top of the second inning, hitting .291 on the year. He gets a circle change that was just tailor-made for him, follows that one off. He continues this at-bat and a cutter up in the zone that maybe should have been a called strike 3, but it will be a walk. That brings up Fritz De La Cruz, who's hitting .298 on the year. You can see these averages are actually really, really high, as Fritz will hit this one to second, and it was knocked down, but Fritz does end up beating that one out. That brings up Luis Lara, hitting .333 on the year. That's going to help out the average. Deep to right center field, off of the wall, and it will score 1. We will try to score 2, and the throw will not be in time as Fritz will score all the way from first. And Luis Lara is on a tear to start this year. That's his 8th double, and he's not even a full-time player at this point. That brings up Mariano Aguilar to the plate. He hits one well to short. That's going to be a single here for Aguilar, and he is maybe a name to look out for in this lineup as he gets a single right there. Now the top of our order comes back to the plate with Christian Yelich, and he hits a chopper to third. He hasn't gotten his bat going just yet, and he is thrown out, but 2 runs doing in that inning. But here's Johnny Hood in the bottom of the second inning in a little bit of trouble, gives up a single to the right side. And now the Dodgers have runners on first and second, 1 out. So that brings up Bryson Stott to the plate now. And a curveball swinging through that one. Maybe hung up a little bit, but maybe just a good pitch too. So that brings up Zaire Hope. And a called strike 3 on the outside half. And Johnny Hood does get out of that inning as well. Back to Luis Lara at the plate. Remember, acquired back in season number 2. He's been with us the last 3 years, and he's been actually a pretty good depth outfielder, but getting an opportunity to get a little more playing time versus the Dodgers in this one. 1 for 1 today with no runners aboard, and this one's driven deep to right center field. That is gone. 435 off of the bat of Lara. And just remember that Luis Lara is still only 23 years of age, by the way. He is still really young. And I know some of you guys have said that he is expendable, but I am just not interested in moving a 23-year-old outfielder that has at least proven that he is an MLB player. Here is Michael Vigil at the plate. He drives this one deep off of the wall in right center field. And that one will be a nice 1-out double here for Vigil. If he can get his offense going, I mean, watch out versus right-handed pitching. Our lineup's going to be scary dangerous. Here is Mariano Aguilar. He hits this one off the end of his bat. It does get down in left field, and it does score. Vigil easily from second base, and it's now a 4-0 ball game on the road. So good to see our offense coming through in this one as we move on to the top of the 8th inning. Now Jose Hernandez in to face Royce Lewis, and Lewis gets a lot of this pitch deep to right center field, and it is gone. The first homer we will hit with Royce Lewis in this series, and that one will come against the Dodgers. And this is the type of power that we have just not had on this squad. To be able to hit that pitch low and outside, deep to right center field, it was quite the treat to hit that pitch right there. So now on to the top of the 8th inning. Here's Fritz De La Cruz here at the plate, and he is just doing everything to get on base this year. He's hitting around 300, and he's just been a fun player to play with, not really having the power at the plate, but he just hits for high average, finds a way to get on base. That brings up Luis Lara now to the plate. He hits this one well to right field. Back at the wall. This one is out of there. It barely sneaks over. And Lara hits his second home run of the game. Even missed second base right there, rounding second. And Lara having himself a start to season number 5. He heard that we were looking to replace him in the outfield. He's saying, not so fast. Top 9 now. Here is Royce Lewis at the plate. He's walking. As that eventually rings up Terrence Matlock now with 1 out. And he gets a pitch and hits this one up the middle. That one gets down in center field. Royce Lewis rounds second pretty hard, and he will get all the way into third. So now we have runners on the corners here in the 9th inning. And that's going to bring up Luis Lara. Already 2 home runs in this game as he comes up here with 2 outs. Can he make it 3 with a 3-for-4 ball game? He gets one over the middle and up in the zone, and it's just going to be a fly ball into foul territory as Stott does get to it. I was hoping for a big moment for Lara. That would have been the first 3 home run game in this series. So here is Ryan Ward to the plate, but Seth Martinez comes in, and Seth Martinez has been so good since acquiring him in the Rule 5 draft, and we end up getting the victory 7-3 after losing those games in the month of April and May. This feels like a really good victory for us, and maybe will give us some momentum. And Luis Lara, 2 home runs and a double, 5 RBIs in that game. So that brings us to 17-22. Does get Johnny Hood his first win of the year. I'm going to make a couple of roster moves. Ben Rice is hitting pretty well at AAA. So I'm going to move him up because I do, like I said, I want to drive in some runs. And I think that even Ben Rice with runners aboard could come in and pitch hit situations and maybe get some pinch hit home runs or some pinch hit extra base hits. One thing I haven't done is give Fritz De La Cruz a secondary position. Everybody has a secondary position. Nobody just plays one position. So I'm going to give him corner outfield as his secondary positions. And that kind of opens up the gate, I think, for Ben Rice, because Ben Rice is a first baseman and a catcher. Now, I have not played him at catcher, but he will get an opportunity to at least hit in some games. Give him some at-bats here at the MLB level. Maybe help our lineup out. And we do end up putting Bryce Matthews on waivers. We had to. He was out of options. But I really am pleased with our offense. We just haven't been able to manufacture runs. We are 8th in batting average, by the way. So I don't think it's a matter of, our players are just not playing well. I think it's just, how we are right now. We're just not manufacturing those runs. We are a little low with the ERA. That's dropped a little bit. We've been in the top 15 in this series. We're at 19th right now. But here we are now in the middle of the month of May. There's a lot of baseball left, but let me know what you guys think of this squad and what you think the missing ingredient maybe is. Is it Johnny Francisco, moving him up? Or is it giving Ben Rice opportunities? Is it just that we're just not manufacturing runs at this point? I'm kind of leaning towards that third point there. I think that right now we're just not driving in runs, but those will come with time. Hit subscribe, hit that like button. Thanks for the support in this series. Stay tuned. Let's get it. Let's go.